Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Weekend Update. I'm Marisa, your hostess for this typically bi-weekly program, but surprise! It's only been a week, and yet I am here, so you're welcome. But the reason that I am doing a weekly instead of bi-weekly is because I actually have some updates from our last Weekend Update. I was in the middle of a couple books, and I was almost done with them, and so I finished them. I have some thoughts, and I am into some new books. So let's just dive into what I have completed since our last visit. The first book that I have completed was The Compound by Aisling Rao. And this one was one I was almost done. I had 40 pages left for our last Weekend Update, and lo and behold, I completed it. I ended up rating this book 3.5 stars. I thought this was a very interesting read. I thought it was a really interesting look into human nature, how we interact with other people when we are placed in these kind of like dire situations. What will we do if there's food scarcity or there's water scarcity? Or what will we do if we are being encouraged to engage in behaviors that are maybe out of character for us or that are maybe not in line with our morality, if there's the possibility of receiving some kind of a reward? And so this was a really great look into that. I thought it was an interesting read. I thought that it was a quick read. It was under 300 pages. I think the characters were all pretty much unlikable, but I think that they were supposed to be. I will say this was a dystopian book, but the dystopian situation was so vague that I really couldn't get a good glimpse of what was actually going on in this dystopian society. We have mention of the world is ending, world is burning up. We see mention of like fires. We see a lot of financial concerns. We also have discussion of wars and people going to war, but we don't really hear a lot about that, which I think was purposeful because the book is more focused on what's going to happen when we take these people and put them in the compound without access to the outside world. And so I think that was purposeful, but I do think that for me, if I would have known a little bit more, it would have just enriched the experience for me. I have mixed feelings about the ending. It was very, like, I feel like sudden and abrupt, but I also feel like it was vague in a way that I liked, but I'm someone who likes things to be wrapped up with a nice little bow. And so I've kind of had to sit with my discomfort over the fact that that was how the story ended, and it wasn't supposed to have a happily ever after. It wasn't supposed to be wrapped up in a nice little bow. You're supposed to be thinking about it, and I have been thinking about it since I finished it. I will say, after reading this book, the first couple times I tried to sit and watch Love Island, I did have a hard time. I was just thinking about this while I was watching Love Island. And so it is a book that will stay with you, which I think is the mark of a really good book. I also completed The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I ended up rating that book 4.25 stars. I thought it was a super charming book. I thought that it was a really interesting, fun read. I loved the characters. I felt like we got 4 really distinct and interesting characters. And I'm really excited to continue on with the series. I'm really excited to continue on with this world that Richard Osman has created. I will say that I found myself kind of getting a little confused and having a hard time following certain parts of the book, just because there were a lot of character POVs that we focused on. And sometimes when we were switching, I was getting a little confused. There were some of those things where if I let my mind wander for 1 second, I would be lost. And so I do think that was a little bit difficult for me. Overall, I really enjoyed it, and I am looking forward to the next book. I am currently reading A Song Unheard by Rosanna M. White. This is book 2 in the Shadows Over England series. I am about 60% of the way through this book, and I am really enjoying this. This is shaping up to be a 5-star read for me. This has such strong characters. It's so interesting. We're further into the beginnings of World War I. And can we just talk about, I feel like people downplay the ability to write a really great romance from a Christian lens. The yearning in this book is unmatched. I have literally found myself like giggling because of the yearning and the pining and the flirtation. It's incredible. And I already know that this is going to be a story about a really beautiful transformation on both people, how they come to know God, come to trust in him, and then how that will relate to their relationship with each other. And I am very excited for the payoff, and I am very excited to get to the last book in this series as well. My husband and I were also listening to Good Bad Girl by Alice Feeney on audiobook, but we actually just today made the decision to DNF that book. We were, I think, about 17% of the way through, which would translate to about an hour and 30 minutes of the audiobook. And this was really weird for me because as someone who, I have called myself an Alice Fiendie because I have loved all of the Alice Feeney books I've listened to for the most part. This just did not grip me. We have the first chapter that starts us off with a mystery, and then every chapter thereafter feels like the mystery is just gone, non-existent. And my husband and I found ourselves looking for clues to try and like bring the mystery element back, because a lot of the chapters just felt like unlikable women doing things that were just like, I'm going to work, and this is me at work, and this is what I do when I'm at work. And it didn't feel like a thriller, and it didn't feel like a mystery. And we were like, you know what? Life's too short. Let's just call it. And so we ended up DNFing that one. In terms of what I'm going to be reading next, I'm going to be reading These Summer Storms by Sarah MacLean. I am looking forward to this one. I feel like this is going to be a really interesting read. I've heard a lot of good things about it. And as we're continuing on in the height of summer, I feel like this will be a great book to dive into. And we also just got the notification from Libby that the audiobook for The Man Who Died Twice by Richard Osman is available. And so I am looking forward to reading that one and getting into that one as well, because I really enjoyed the Thursday Murder Club. So, like I said last time, July is shaping up to be a really good reading month, and I am here for it. I want these good vibes to just stay. What have you guys been up to since we last spoke? What are some books that you've been reading that you really enjoy? What are some books that maybe you didn't quite enjoy, and what are you looking forward to in the weeks to come? I will be back with you a week, 2 weeks. I guess you'll have to stay tuned and find out. On that note, if you're still here, thank you. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet to find out when I will be back. I am very mysterious in that sense. And while you're down there, you may as well just press the like button. Thank you guys, and I'll see you later.